Hello everybody and good morning. Welcome to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. So we've been going over by the book by John Maxwell, Thinking for a Change. So before we jump into chapter 3, we're going to go ahead and invite some people onto here. Jeff will be here in just a moment. He's just fixing something. All right, we are ready to go. So we're on chapter 3, which is master the process of intentional thinking. So for a flower to bloom, you need the right soil as well as the right seed. The same is true to cultivate good thinking, and that's by William Burnmich. So good thinkers are always in demand. A person who knows how may always have a job, but the person who always knows why will always be that person's boss. So putting yourself in the right place to think. So becoming a thinker is not complicated. It's discipline. Like anything else, if you're going to change a habit, you have to have the discipline to create that habit, and good thinking is a habit. So here's a couple of things that John has brought up. So number 1, find a place to think your thoughts. Set aside time where you can think things through. And what he says, when you set aside the place where you can think, thoughts will come. A lot of times when we're running around and we're busy, we don't actually sit down and think things through and think about how you want to do things. What impact do you want to make? And setting aside that specific time of this is when I'm going to think about these things really does help, because a lot of people are like, well, I'm not sure if I would really have a whole lot of things to think about, which is why John said if you create the environment, it will come eventually. And for some people, that spot is going for a walk. Some people it's taking a shower. It could be driving in the car and so on. It's just a place that you have where it helps you just get away from everything and take that time to really think stuff through. Number 2, find a place to shape your thoughts. Rarely do ideas fully come formed and completely worked out. You need to ask questions about your ideas so that way you can fine tune them. And one of the best ways to do that is by putting your thoughts in writing. As soon as you have a thought, it's good to write it down. You could shape your thoughts almost anywhere, but just find a place that works for you. Writing, hold on, where you can write. So you want to find a place where you can focus your attention without interruptions and ask questions about your ideas and put them on paper. If you don't put them on paper, if you can't explain something in writing, you don't have enough information. Number 3, find a place to stretch your thoughts. So you could take a thought much further with a team than you can on your own. So 1 is too small of a number to achieve greatness. There's a formula John used. likes to use for this. The right thoughts plus the right people in the right environment at the right time for the right reason equal the right result. So in this combination is hard to beat, and here's why that is. The right thought, everything must begin with the seed of an idea. The right people will stretch a vision, are the people who see what you're trying to accomplish and who strengthen your vision and who complement you and enlarge your vision. The people in your life impact your thinking for better or for worse. So why not work strategically to find the people who will stretch you to your potential? That's where going through enough people, eventually you're going to find the right person. Spend the most time with the people who are the thinkers and the growers and want to accomplish something. If you spend a lot of time with people who have no desire to grow and achieve anything, you're not going to grow yourself. The right environment. The right environment will either stretch you or shrink your ideas. If you are a leader, then you realize you are creating the environment you're in. So the responsibility for that really rests on you. If you don't have the environment and you're the leader, the issue isn't the people around you, the issue is you. So if you don't have the environment, you need to sit down and think about what are the things that I need to change to create this environment around me. Because once you start doing something and people start seeing the change, people are either going to follow in pursuit or they're going to drop out. Now, before you panic about that, it's okay if some people leave. They weren't the right people. But that's where you have to constantly be finding new people who are going to fit that vision. So if you don't have the culture yet in your group, then you need to work on you so that way you can create that culture. And then it's going to attract more of the right people and not the wrong people. The right time. If you implement them too early or introduce them while there are more naysayers than supporters, they won't survive. In MLM, if you have an idea and have thought it over, and the best thing you can do is to try it out yourself. Go try it out yourself, see if it works, and if it works, then you can bring it to the team. Because it's not a bad thing to find different ways to do things, but you can't, I see a lot of people who go out and they're like, oh, I have this idea, we should do it this way. And I'm like, okay, well, have you tried it? They're like, well, no, we just think it's a great idea and everybody should do it. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to go try it first, because we're not changing everything that the team is doing if we don't know if it works for sure. Because otherwise everybody gets off track and a bunch of people get frustrated, and then if something doesn't work, it's not going to really help the team. So it's good to just go try it first, get the numbers, see if it works. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. Oh, lovely allergy season. Oh. Okay, I think I'm good now. Anywho, good morning. Oh my goodness. This has been happening since yesterday. I've been sneezing up a storm. It's okay. I'm good. But anywho, what was I talking about? Numbers. So, if you have an idea, go try it, get the numbers. Oh my goodness. Jeff, I might have to have you do this. I need to run for a second. I shall be back.
Okay, so she was talking about, thinking this through. It says every time thought has the potential of becoming something great. So you have a thought, let's say in your business, and you want to do things a certain way. Sometimes she can be allergic to me. It's actually, allergy season kind of hits in August here. For whatever reason, all of the fun, enjoyable, I think it's the ragweed season is really what it is. It's kind of awful. But, so thoughts will come out. Every time, every thought has the potential to become something great. So you might think of a certain way, but like Brandy said, you have to implement it. And actually do it and make sure that it's working, and then you'll kind of be in good spot. Let me see, where am I at, right? Okay. Find a place. So find a place to land your thoughts. So, where are they going to land? On paper? Are they going to land in your head? Are they going to land with your best friend? Where are you going to run these ideas past? It says yourself. People buy into an idea only after they buy into the leader who communicates it. And that's actually part of one of John's other books. Do I believe it? Do I live it? Do I believe others should live it? So it's like, okay, can I do this? Is this something that I believe inside and out? Second, do I do it? And that's where a lot of people just don't come through, is they have the idea, but they don't actually have the ability sometimes to come through. Sometimes it's, physical ability. Sometimes it's mental ability. Sometimes it's, emotional ability to follow through. And then do I believe others should live it? Is this the way that it should go? Key players says the influencers must embrace it. So if you really want to get the idea landed, the influencers, the people who you work with that influence the rest of your team, have to buy into what you're doing. For instance, if you're going to have a leadership event, you have to have the leaders buy in, because if the leaders aren't bought into, let's say, this leadership event you want to have, and they don't promote it, and they don't plan on coming, then the rest of the team isn't going to come. Typically, the leader itself isn't going to influence the entire group. Usually the main influencer will influence the, secondary influencers of the team, and that's who actually brings the team. For instance, there was a gentleman on my team at one point that basically made up for about 25% of the room, sometimes 30. I knew that if he came, the room would increase by 25 to 30%. If he didn't come, obviously that percentage wasn't there. Just by him coming alone and letting other people know, people wanted to come talk to him, people wanted to come see him, people wanted to come have a conversation. So I spent the majority of my time not really trying to influence his people as much as show him the importance of actually being there. So the most people affected, people are most willing to change when they hurt enough that they're willing to change. Obviously, this has become painful and I got to do something. They learn enough that they want to change. So when you learn enough, basically that leads to choice. So I've seen it, I've heard it, I've seen other people, I've read it, and then all of a sudden the light bulb comes on and you're like, oh, that's what we're supposed to be doing. You receive enough that you have the ability to change. And I added another one. Because I was surprised that he didn't have this. You believe enough that you're ready to change. Because you might know it's the right thing, but you might not believe it can happen. You might not believe in yourself, which is the normal case. I don't believe I can accomplish this. So I don't believe others will believe in me, which again is a self-esteem thing. So that, to me, is almost the most important out of this list. 5. Find a place to fly your thoughts. It says, think like a man of action and act like a man of thought. That was actually a French philosopher, Henry Louis Bergson. I don't know how to speak in French, so who knows? Parlez-vous français? Non, en anglais. So I only know how to speak English. Thinking must lead to action. So that was kind of one of the main topics of this whole chapter. Give your plans the right amount of thinking time, and you'll find that implementation and time decreases and the results get better. So you've got an idea, you want to run out and try it. And usually it's a marketing idea. That's in direct sales and MLM, it's usually a marketing idea. Oh my gosh, I thought of a new way to contact people on Facebook. I thought of a new way to contact people online. I'm going to send them a pop-up video or something like that. I mean, I've seen weird stuff. And you run out and try it, and then you realize you have to buy software. And then you have to buy other software to make that software work. And then you have to buy other software. So I have a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to automate. I'm going to get a digital business card. I'm going to do, just on and on and on. And I was like, okay, how much does that cost? Well, you only have to pay this one time, and then there's a monthly fee. Okay. Well, not only is there a monthly fee, but then on top of the monthly fee, you have to also have this other program that runs in the background to run that program. Okay, how much is that? Well, it costs a little bit more, and then you have to program it. Oh, okay, well, how long did it take you to program it? See where I'm going with this? So all of a sudden, it doesn't become simple. It doesn't become easy. It doesn't become duplicatable. It doesn't become replicatable. It becomes another business altogether, another job altogether that most people get lost. You'll lose most people. Like the moment you start paying for other things and have to program them and have to add in and you have to put together another profile, those kind of things. So how to become a thinker. Expose yourself to good input. So he talks about reading books, reading magazines, listening to audios, watching videos, attending seminars. Actually, I added a lot of that because he had reading books, magazines, and listening to tapes. Obviously, this book was written 25, 30 years ago, prior to what we have today in social media and YouTube. Expose yourself to good thinkers. It says spend time with the right people. If you want to be a sharp thinker, you have to spend time with sharp people. Kind of makes sense. Choose to think good thoughts. That really creates the emotion. So this is something that I was taught, and I've got it down here, is you have to think right, to act right, to feel right. And he talks about this here in a second. It says ideas have a short shelf life. You must act upon them before the expiration date. So a lot of times, if you have these great ideas, this is why keeping a journal and writing stuff down is so important. Because the stuff you think is amazing idea, especially in the beginning of your business, you'll go back and look at it a month later and be like, what in the world was I thinking? You'll go back a year later and be like, I was completely wrong on a lot of this. I found notebooks dating back as far as 1996. And some of the notes were really good because I was listening to people who had built gigantic businesses, and the stuff is still right on. Then I look at kind of the stuff that I wrote, meaning my own thoughts, and I'm like, well, that wouldn't have worked at all. Why? Because that's where I was at when I was 19. So, allow your emotion to create other good thoughts, and this is what I was talking about. You can act your way into feeling long before you'll feel your way into action. If you wait till something feels like doing something, you will likely never accomplish it. So what I was taught a long time ago is you have to think right to act right to feel right. Most people do it the opposite. Most people feel first, they act second, and they think last. And they're, it's typical. I get home, I'm tired. Oh, I'm tired. I'll do this in a minute. And I sit down on the couch, and then I turn on Lord of the Rings, Big Bang Theory. And all of a sudden, 30 minutes to 3 hours passes by. And then you think about it afterwards. You're like, oh, man, I should have. I could have, and you didn't. So repeat the process. One good thought does not make a life. It says success comes from those who have an entire mountain of gold that they continue to mine. So getting yourself on track over and over and over again. Scott's here. Hello. Shamala's here. Hello. Junior. Hung. How are you? Let me see. Who else do we have here? Dave Peters. What's going on? That's Shamala again. Just looking through. Dave Roeder, what's going on? So, just thinking things through, it's not, most people don't think. That's just really what it boils. Actually, there was a quote in here by a person that I won't even mention that says, basically, thank goodness most men don't think, because it makes it really easy for rulers to take over, which is definitely scary right now. So that's what I actually have for this chapter is, thinking things through. The main thing is who is a group of people you're getting together with to run this stuff by. That's why Dan Pena, Jim Rohn, John Maxwell, I can go on and on and on. The 5 people you spend the most time with. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. The people you're around, what are they thinking about? How are they thinking about? Are they leading? Are they making more money? Are they leading on a path that's going to make more money? Do you see them constantly improve, or do you see them right where they're at? Because I sat back and watched some people that started getting on track, and I was like, okay, and then I follow up with them 90 days later, and they were further ahead, and then I followed up with them 90 days later, and they were further ahead, and then I followed up with them 90. Now they're so far ahead, like I couldn't catch them. This was years ago. who are you following, who are you hanging out with. So with that, that's a wrap.
All right, and honestly, I think you pretty much got it. So, anywho, sorry I had to jump off for a moment, but tomorrow we will be going over chapter 4. If you guys would like the notes for this chapter, we're taking notes on each one, and if you would like these notes, we're going to post them on the wall of the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show group, Facebook group.
Doing that now.
He's doing that right now. So if you would like those, you are more than welcome to have them. And go follow us on YouTube. We are downloading each one of these videos to there, so that way if you'd like to re-listen to this, you can do that as well. So with that, we will see you guys tomorrow.